In my trip down series, I'll be breaking down various levels in multiple games, varying from the worst of the worst to the best of the best. In today's video, I'm taking a trip down Central Yharnam, one of gaming's greatest opening levels. Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, it truly helps me deliver the best content I can, thank you. So 2015, Bloodborne. A mix of sci-fi, some horror, a gothic dream, or a Victorian nightmare. Whatever way you see it, this game provides countless reasons to consider it in such a high caliber. But that's all subjective at the end of the day. How does this level set you up to tackle Bloodborne? Where does it leave you for the rest of the game? Am I overhyping a normal opening level, or is Central Yharnam something to be modeled after? Alright, so first things first, I wake up to a blood transfusion and a werewolf enters the mix, Lord of Blood style, right?
Welcome.
Now right off the bat, this is the first enemy you face. Now I know to dodge and get it charged off so I can visceral them, but day one, dead. And after getting transported to the Hunter's Dream, this game's version of Firelink Shrine, it's a hub area. Basic rules apply. You can level up, work on your weapon, travel to different locations, and in this instance I'm going to be grabbing my starting weapons, acknowledging this abandoned doll, then eventually making my way back to Central Yharnam, which for all intents and purposes has to be the greatest opening level to a FromSoft game, where if you can just make it out of this place, you are absolutely ready to take on this game cover to cover. And if you can't, well, you're gonna be here for a while, either trying to get into the groove or just contemplating giving up on the game altogether. When I first started out with Bloodborne, it was off the tail end of a strength playthrough with a great shield. It's safe to say that the first hour or two was really a learning experience, just getting into the flow of combat. The fast dodging as opposed to the more meticulous rolling, no blocking, and you might just think, well, you know what, I don't need to use the sidearm just yet, I'll figure it out. Well, this guy begs to differ, and is the perfect chance being right next to the lamp to nail your parry timing down for when you're stuck in the later portion of the game. Dodging and punishing this big goof is doable, but I really think he's here to push new players into using the sidearm for viscerals. Making your way up the street, you're gonna notice how many enemies there are. Quite a few. Arguably more mobs in this section than any other section in the game. And this is the first level. I've let buddies of mine borrow Bloodborne only to get it returned back to me a week later saying I can't even reach the first boss. What the hell's up with this game? Popping this game back in was bittersweet. Knowing I wanted to play it but thinking I wasn't gonna have fun slugging through crowds of mobs only to die at the last second. Noticing right off the bat I had picked up pebbles. Small pebbles found throughout Yharnam. Can be thrown at foes. Quite thrilling. Here's my ticket past that crowd. I just need a position, toss a pebble and lure 'em in, and then get shreked. Why I didn't know this before is beyond me, but regardless, my eyes are peeled and glued to descriptions from here on out. Parrying this guy, pebbling this dog, and now we've come full circle. Back to that starting enemy, but now there's two. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, I got one pebble left, let's do this. Okay, alright. Alright, what's happening here? Oh, alright, now we're cooking. I'm gonna lead him down this way, maybe spread him out.
Surprise, mother...
And just in time. Alright, so now I just gotta finish him off and... Okay. I got more pebbles. Alright, back to where I left off, and... Alright, so we've tackled crowd control as well as viscerals, and I'm telling you, at this point I'm feeling a lot better moving forward, even with that death. Central Yharnam so far has an aesthetic that any sci-fi horror fan will appreciate, and two mechanics more or less hiddenly displayed for us to figure out, which I did on my second go around, and even though my confidence is high, that doesn't mean I'm gonna smash this game, because I went in looking like Rambo in First Blood, and now I'm forced to adapt and explore. Sometimes you might not feel like getting killed by dogs or huge crowds over and over, and you might take a different approach to things, and look at this. Alright, so now I'm in this area, still knowing I have that previous area I still haven't fully finished exploring yet. But I stumble across an NPC, another nice view, and at this point I've completely forgotten how to even get back to where I was. So I continue to push, and this guy wants the business apparently. I think I'm just gonna let him be for now. Okay, and see, this even more cements how great this level is. I accidentally stumble across another area, go through it and wind up at a ladder meeting this girl who gives me an item to use somewhere, somehow.
It plays one of Daddy's favourite songs, and when Daddy forgets us, We play it for him so he remembers.
And now would you look at this? Open this gate up and look where I am, right where I left off. That's game design right there. Booyah. So now I know to take one wolf down here, and never mind, he followed me anyways. Visceral. And here we are. I was so close to getting to this before, but here it is, boys. The shortcut that I needed to get back there without trekking through the whole level again. You gotta love it. And this is why exploring this level as much as you can is going to set you up for the rest of the game. Reaching Father Gascoigne is going to be a realization for a few. That realization is this might be the hardest opening boss we've ever been introduced to up to this point. The aggressive nature, the fact that we haven't been able to level up health or stamina. It's very notable how stressful this fight can be to unsuspecting players. But guess what? Remember those two wolves and I got distracted unlocking the shortcut back to the lamp, then decided to explore that lower section? Well, I remember there was a path going past them, and maybe I should go back up and see what's over there. When approaching the entrance, I can already smell the boss. And this right here I feel is the game's way of saying, oh, did Father hurt you? Oh, let me take your hand. Because yeah, you still have to beat the Cleric Beast, but in doing so, you get a lamp here, 8,000 blood echoes, and the doll's alive from dying to Gas Man. So apparently it's the insight that brings the doll to life. Now I do remember snagging a madman's knowledge at one point through the level, so realistically if I was reading descriptions and testing items, I could have easily leveled up before any of these bosses, which I think is another hidden mechanic that is strongly urged to explore and find. At this point I've picked up like 11 Molotovs, and the fight against Cleric doesn't always go so smooth, especially on a first run. Reading descriptions of my items, I can see how Molotovs work against beasts, and they don't call him the Cleric Beast for nothing. So 30 minutes in, you've gotten past the biggest crowd in the game, figured out pathing, and realized there's going to be shortcuts and branching paths that lead to different items, areas, and NPCs. Gives you a strong boss in Father Gascoigne, which at first you may feel be overwhelming, but also encourages the player to explore more. Finding another boss that will allow me to 1. Gain confidence in a boss battle, 2. Gain blood echoes and the ability to level up, and 3. A plan of attack for Father Gascoigne. Whether it's leveling up, reading descriptions, and finding anything that might work against him. So now I'm making my way back. And by the way, what you have here, these two guys, best blood vial farm in the early game by far, arguably the entire game. But it's right next to the door leading to the cleric and that elevator leading back to Papa. So if your trial and error is lasting longer than you initially thought, fear not, my friends. These goons will give you the confidence needed to go into these battles knowing you can heal whenever needed. It's such an added pad of comfort if you ask me. So now when I'm finally at the Gas Man, I'll be honest, my first go around I was not reading descriptions. I was not exploring this map tip to toe, but bum rushing this game like I was speed running it. I don't know why, considering it was my first run, but now after all the knowledge I do have in these Souls games, when I replay these levels, it's baffling how I couldn't put the pieces together. Reading the tiny music box description might not scream it, but it has Gascoigne's name in it, so naturally I'm going to use it in this battle. And what I discover is the offensive advantage that you can get by stunning him with this music box for just a few seconds. I already knew Central Yharnam was setting me up for gold, but now as I'm stunning Papa in his hunter phase, I'm finally able to get him down to his transition, and I'm telling you, he looks a lot like a beast to me. A beast that doesn't like fire. Oh man, now it's cooking. I'm enlightened at this point. 30 minutes ago, I was cursing this game for putting 20 enemies around a bonfire. Now I'm the Pebble King just waiting to pounce on an unsuspecting group of townfolk. Ready to burn any beast that gets near me, and I'm not afraid to venture off the beaten path to find the next shortcut, item, or NPC that's gonna get me where I need to go. Not only that, but on top of everything I just said, Papa G is a prime example of how some bosses can just be parried in this game. Father Gascoigne needed to be a mini-wall for new players because of how many mechanics get introduced in this first area, for sure. If you could level up right off the bat, you wouldn't need to learn crowd control. If you steamrolled Gascoigne, you wouldn't need to explore and totally miss the Cleric Beast, setting you up for that overconfident mind frame that gets you Shrek'd in the DLC. And if Cleric Beast was just another button mashing simulator that didn't require any thinking, then those Molotovs are still sitting in my inventory and I'm getting clapped by wolves in the next area. Central Yharnam sets you up with a few things that players will take with them to the endgame. The way this level is a quote-unquote tutorial level for new players is incredible. FromSoft, known for no difficulty settings and no tutorials, seem to have designed such a tutorial in a way that is still tough but fair and rewarding in so many ways. And I mean, you would never think of this level as a tutorial just running from lamp to Gascoigne and then on to the chapel, but actually picking every item up and reading the descriptions, talking to anybody that needed to be talked to, and just paying attention a bit more than you would say NBA 2K. This is a tutorial level through and through. You have items for enemies, items for bosses, blood vial farms, experience, and therefore the understanding to explore, explore, explore. Read. I just can't help but think of Central Yharnam as a master class in game design that rewards players for taking the time to discover the ins and outs of this game. Because it's all displayed for us. It's just a little hidden and you may need to realize it's there. It's not going to pop up center screen telling you to use fire, but if you read it, you'll know it. Mechanics, on point. Level design, on point. Victorian Gothic art style, on point. 2 bosses with different ways to tackle them. Farms for the entirety of the game, on point. And by the way, any game that gives you the opportunity to do this, for everyone that thinks From Software doesn't absolutely love its player base, setting all the little troll moments aside, what you get is the closest I think anybody will come to having a tutorial while simultaneously not actually having a tutorial. Hats off to you, FromSoft, well done. Alright, I hope you liked this video. It's something I really wanted to discuss. If you like this type of retrospectives, breaking down levels or whatnot, let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It truly means a lot. I hope you all have a great day or night, and thank you for watching.